First up, we'll have the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everybody. I have a couple of quick items. Just a reminder to everybody that Tech Night is November 21st at Crockett from 5 to 8 p.m. There are flyers out in the hallway, so please, we'd like as many people from the community to attend. You're going to see teachers demonstrating technology, students demonstrating technology, and we'll have a number of vendors there also. I'm proud to announce that we have won a $5,000 BASF grant for Hamilton High School West. It's a STEM education grant called Pollinator Pockets. And so that was a grant written by Laura Gelch and Joanne Long, who is our supervisor of science. Also like to say, and if we do have students who are 9th through 11th grade in the audience, they will tell you that they took the PSAT today. PSAT is offered every October, and we offer it to our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders at no cost. So I'd like to thank the Board of Education for that. Every one of our 9th, 10th, and 11th graders are eligible for the PSAT. Let me just tell you why it's important. There's a lot of reasons why it's important, but taking those opens up an opportunity for National Merit Scholarship Program. There's over $300 million in scholarships available. You get free personalized preparation after taking it, and you'll learn your academic strengths and areas that you can improve on. Not only that, but when you upload your results to Khan Academy, you will actually get a personalized program for improving your scores. So it's important. Students that are interested in college or thinking about college, it's important that we offer this and allow our students to take this. And every time they take it, they get a little more comfortable with the exam, which helps them to get a higher score and opens the door to other colleges, universities, and scholarships. On Monday, we had a staff in-service day. We had over 100 sessions. And I'd like to highlight the fact that we had 42 choice sessions. So let me explain what that means. Half of the day for our staff was very structured. So we are going to this professional development workshop or this professional development workshop. Then the second half of the day were choice sessions. And what that meant is staff got an opportunity to pick their learning, the areas in which they wanted to focus on. 42 of those sessions were taught by staff in-house here. Teachers, principals, vice principals, supervisors, directors. So we didn't go out and fill it all with outside resources. We had lots of experts and people in-house that are doing outstanding jobs and sharing their work with their colleagues. And I think that's a strength of our district, where our teachers can get up in front of a group of their colleagues and show and demonstrate something that they're doing in the classroom. Our supervisors, our tech facilitators can do the same thing. So I believe it was an excellent day. I want to thank Mr. Scotto, his curriculum supervisors, principals, Ms. Audino, her supervisors, and every other staff member that was part of organizing it. And this is one of a number of in-services that we have each year. So the last item that I have is a substitute job fair that we have on October 29th in this room at 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. So if you know anybody who's looking to sub, please send them here from 1 to 4 on the 29th. And that concludes my report.
Next, anybody from the board that has any announcements they'd like to make?
I was actually invited to one of my liaison schools today, Sunny Bray, and learned that the 5th grade is going to BizTown, which is in Edison. It's a junior achievement program that is free. We're paying for buses, is my understanding. And I'm going to read you the description because it's pretty interesting. JA BizTown is a standards-based 21st century experiential learning curriculum designed for 5th and 6th grade students to learn the importance of work readiness, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy. The program starts with 13 teacher-taught lessons and culminates with a day-long field trip to the volunteer-assisted simulated mini-city of JA BizTown. Here, students apply what they've learned in the classroom to real life as they role play in 14 different storefronts, including a bank, retail store, radio station, city hall, and more in jobs such as CEOs, CFOs, tellers, medical technologists, and town mayor. In managing their businesses and acting as responsible citizens and wise consumers. JA BizTown students strive to create a successful economy. So I was told today they can't let their businesses go bankrupt. And today they were learning how banks work in society. So the teachers in 5th grade went to train. They are now teaching these 13 lessons. Sunny Bray is going with Yardville, is that right, Mr. Scotto? I can never keep Yardville and Yardville Heights separate together, and Morgan and San are going. And the kids look really excited, and today they were filling out they all got booklets from JA, and today they were learning how to open a bank account, and learning that they needed cursive writing to sign their signature. Where is our buddy? Where's our cursive writing friend? So that was pretty cool, and they're having a book fair next week. At Grice, my other liaison school, tomorrow night is Hispanic American Heritage Celebration, starting at 6. The College and Career Fair at Grice is Thursday, November 14th. Tomorrow night's event is at 6. The College and Career Fair is from 5 to 7. Grice held a Family Day event on Saturday, October 5th. The event was open to the entire school community. There were community organizations present to talk to parents. District staff helped the parents navigate Power School, and they had registration for free and reduced lunch program. Officer Sal was there and gave away prizes. And food was donated by local restaurants. So Mr. Innocenzi wants to make this a yearly event. The Red Cross Club at Grice is in the middle of their fall clothing drive. They're looking for gently used clothing, for winter, fall and winter. There's a bin by the main office where you can drop the clothes. And the biggest news is the Gladiator Cafe is open on Fridays again for coffee. So that's all I have.
I was able to attend the college fair that they held at Nottingham High School. It was a great event. It was very well attended, very informative, and I want to thank the school and everyone that put it together, because I know it takes a lot of work, but it was great, and it was great to see so many students and families out, taking advantage of getting more information, because you not only had colleges, you also had military ROTC programs, so it was really informative.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll go to our student reps. We'll start with Steiner High School.
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm from Steiner. So this month we had a lot of exciting things. We had our Music in Motion marching band competition on Saturday, October 5th, and we were proud to have all 3 high schools there, so that was really great. We had our Week of Respect last week, where we had a lot of encouraging messages, and we put sticky notes on the lockers with motivational messages from our National Honor Society and other organizations. We had our National Honor Society induction on Thursday, October 3rd. We've had success in our various sports and clubs. One that stood out to me was our girls soccer beat, Hopewell, who's been the #1 seed this Monday, so that was really cool. And then today we had the PSAT for freshmen through juniors, and I just want to thank the board for providing that for freshmen through juniors, because personally I feel that's something that's prepared me for the SAT very well. We had a choir solo night at Brothers Pizza on Saturday, October 3rd to help fundraise, so that was really cool too. And now, so for this upcoming month, we're going to have a College Financial Solutions Workshop, which will be hosted by the PTSA on Thursday, October 24th at 7 p.m. in the cafeteria. We're going to have the Mercer County PTA dinner. I believe that Steiner is actually going to be hosting that at the Mercer Oaks on Wednesday, October 23rd. I'm proud to say, as a member of the marching band, that we are going to be going to States for the first time in a long time. Ron, thank you. On Sunday, October 27th. The PTSA will be having its craft fair on November 2nd. We will be having our academic awards night on Wednesday, November 13th at 6:30 in the gym, I believe. And we're going to be having an after-prom volleyball tournament on November 14th at 5:30 in our gym, which is a really fun activity we have and helps fundraise for our after-prom. And then looking ahead, I'll talk about this more at the next board meeting, but we'll have a Spirit Week and Thanksgiving activities. So fun stuff coming up.
Before we move on to Nottingham, I just want to say, you see a lot of us on the board here wearing pink this evening. Mr. Kanka had mentioned it last month, and we thought just to help raise awareness to Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and anybody suffered from it, is suffering from it, or have family members, we just wish them all the best. We want to show our support for that a little bit this evening. Okay.
My name is Louis Pescoul, and I'm from Nottingham High School. Everything is going well at Nottingham. Spirit Week was held 2 weeks ago, and we had high participation numbers from each and every class. And of course, the seniors won wacky races. The talent show, as well as the homecoming dance, produced a great turnout. There were a lot of people there. The next big event that Nottingham has is going to be the Nottingham vs. West game. As mentioned before, it's a pink out game to support breast cancer awareness. It's also going to be Nottingham Senior Day. The PSATs were held today. That was also touched on before. It's a great opportunity for underclassmen to take the practice SAT to help them get ready for when they really need to take the SAT. Also tomorrow, the Share the Keys program is going to be happening at Nottingham High School. It'll be the 7th annual, and it's a great program for not only the students, but the parents of the students to see what their children are learning so that they can help them be ready for the road. And finally, Empower Hour is going strong. That's a free tutoring program we have at Nottingham. It runs 4 days a week, and it's directly after school till 3:30. And it's a great way for students to get extra learning time or to get extra studying time that they wouldn't normally have.
Thank you.
At Hamilton West this upcoming month, or the past month I should say, homecoming was very successful. Our next Wednesday we have our pink out, which 9th through 12th graders wear pink to support breast cancer. On October 23rd and 24th, our academic awards are coming up as well. And this is where students get recognition for having a GPA higher than a 3.5. On October 25th, we have a haunted house as an activity at West, where each club gets a classroom and decorates it with the theme of Halloween. Little kids from all over Mercer County come and use it as an advantage for an early head start on trick-or-treating. I would also like to add with the help of our new staff, head varsity coach, Coach Reparo. We are having a lead-in season with our record of 4-1. With this being said, we have one of the biggest upcoming games this Saturday, West versus Nottingham. For these Hamilton games, we usually have a full house, and seeing that this year it happens to be both Nottingham and West pink out game, we'll see much school spirit this weekend. And last thing, we're also prepping for our Thanksgiving drive as well, since this year Hamilton West will be hosting it. Thank you.
Can I just ask a question? Dr. Rocco, Power Hour happens at all 3 high schools, correct?
It does.
Okay, and would you take a second, because I've gotten a couple emails that it's only happening in one school, and I said, no. So,
No, I believe it should be happening at school, so I'm gonna ask the students, are you having the libraries open Monday through Thursday for after-school tutoring?
Yeah, I think so. I think the National Honor Society does tutoring after school.
And West? So all 3 schools are doing it. They may call it something different in each of the schools.
but we're providing lessons home,
Not on the tutoring.
not on the tutoring, okay.
Okay, next we're gonna have our American Education Week. Proclamation here.
Yes, so American Education Week is actually the week of November 18th, and our board meeting is on November 18th. So we're going to do the proclamation now, prior to the month. And this is actually the board president, President Lombardo, signing off on this proclamation, so I'll read that. Whereas public schools are the backbone of our democracy, providing young people with the tools they need to maintain our nation's precious values of freedom, civility, and equality, and whereas by equipping young Americans with both practical skills and broader intellectual abilities, schools give them hope for and access to a productive future. And whereas education employees, be they substitute educators, support staff, teachers, or administrators, work tirelessly to serve our children and communities with care and professionalism. And whereas schools are community centers, bringing together adults and children, educators and volunteers, business leaders and elected officials for a common mission. Now, therefore, I, Susan Lombardo, serving as president of Hamilton Township Board of Education, do hereby proclaim November 18th through the 22nd as the 98th annual observance of American Education Week, signed this 16th day of October, 2019.
Okay, our board committee reports, Mr. Kanka, do you have facilities and moderating?
Yes, we had a facilities, finance and operation committee, meeting initiatives on, October 2nd. We discussed, what was brought up at the, last board meeting, for the, upcoming agenda type session that's gonna be now open to the public on how, the committee was felt on how the seating arrangements was gonna take place and stuff like that, and the whole, and I guess it's gonna go back and, the board president and the superintendent listen to all the committees, and we're gonna, figure out what we're gonna do and how the forum's gonna take place. We also talked about the esports, issue that was brought up at the last meeting, about, game violence in some of the games and many of the concerns that were voiced by the public and the board members. And, we were given access to some of these games that we would be, hope the board members are gonna be looking into that and, voicing their concerns and their opinions on what they think, we should do. We also, talked about the issues with attendance, with the attendance officer. Downstairs, we talked to Dr. Alballo about it, and, apparently, there's a state mandate that requires us to have some type of attendance officer on staff. So we're looking into that too. We also discussed preliminary, this is the budget season coming up would be for 2021, and that would laid out some of the procedures that we have to go through, not as a board but as a district. Budgets are being submitted by each of the schools, departments, so on and so forth. We also briefly, we touched on the referendum a little bit. As far as the windows are concerned, the project is still ongoing. It's on target. It looks like the final completion of windows will be sometime in December. There's the contractors and our construction management team are working closely with the principals, and they're almost invisible, the workers, as far as working in schools in progress. There have been no issues with student intervention or anything like that, so we're happy about that. We also discussed at the last meeting about the release of the next step through the referendum project, that it was going to be around October the 4th. There were some issues that were brought up with some additional ceiling concerns at Morgan and Mercerville. So that was pushed back, or pushed up to the 11th of October, and then it actually got pushed up again to the 16th of October, which actually occurred today. It was advertised today. We still have a November bid deadline that we're going to award those bids next month, so that hasn't changed. We also touched on the only thing that's not in that is the west kitchen options. There was some issues with the asbestos floor there, with the removal. It turns out that the floor, the asbestos tiles sit on wooden structure, a wooden subfloor, which also sits on a concrete floor. So they're looking at some of the options there on how this can be removed safely to both the school, the students, the staff, and the contractors. contractor itself. We also talked about the facade and the lentils on the Greenwood school issue with the windows, and there was a contractor that reported that they could do it for a certain amount of money, and we looked into it, and it turns out that it's not going to work out that way. So we're still in the process of trying to get that settled right now with the lentils. But other than that, everything else is on schedule to be completed, and with minimal interruption. Oh, we did pass our plumbing inspection at Rice and Reynolds. We're just waiting for the finals on that. So, and the plumbing inspection was for the gas line installation. So that has passed, and we're just waiting for the finals on the units right now. But they are in operation, I believe. We just don't have the finals on. And I guess the other one was the Nottingham. I didn't get an update on the Nottingham issue with the cafeteria unit. We were waiting on. It's an operate, but did we get the finals on the air balancing? So we're good. That's all I got for that. If anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them if I can. Seeing none, can I move into negotiations?
I was just gonna say that.
Okay. We do have two associations up this year, the administrators and the secretaries. We have reached out to the administrators and given some preliminary dates when we could start talking about the guidelines and the ground rules for the upcoming negotiations. We haven't received the confirmation date, but there is one floating around sometime in November, but I'm not going to say what it is because it hasn't been confirmed, but it looks like it may happen towards the end of November. If not, there's 3 more dates out there for December. I haven't reached out to the secretaries yet, but I will discuss it with our board attorney and find out what dates we could put together to set the preliminary meeting with the secretaries and start with the ground rules and stuff like that. And that's all I have. Anybody have any questions on that?
Okay, thank you.
I have nothing else at this time.
So the HR committee met and Dr. Rocco announced the one thing that we discussed, the job fair for October 29th. Mr. Kanka brought up the other, the attendance officer. So our committee report is complete. So,
Sorry.
we'll move on to Ms. Kelly for curriculum.
So the Curriculum Instruction Committee met for initiatives on October 2nd. Some of the items that were discussed at that time were the changing of the color of the gown for graduation, the new teacher induction program. That's the first one took place September 24th. That's going to be monthly meetings, and the topic was measure management. Some policies were discussed, including the one about regarding corporate sponsorships. So we'll be looking into that to see if we can help fill in some of our budget issues through that, but also being mindful that there's certain things that it wouldn't matter how much money we were offered, we would not take a sponsorship from, say, a e-cigarette company or something like that. We also talked about regarding gifts, grants, and donations, that they're a conditional donation until they're actually approved by the board, and the board would have the option to not approve the donation. There was some more follow-up with the esports that was discussed last month. Mr. O'Boyle sent a link to the board for the additional reviews so that they can look at what games there were, and I know as of last month it said there were 7 possible games that were being competed with, and now they're already up to 11. So we're going to look at what some other districts are competing in and make sure that we feel that they're appropriate for our students as well. like substance abuse among youth and things like that. Let's see. We talked about how we will be changing our committees to the board of the whole in November. That was at the initiatives meeting, and then at our agenda meeting, we discussed the things that we're gonna ask you for approval tonight, and that'll be about our students sent out of district. We noted that Mercer County Special Services, the cost per student has gone up, and not so much that the official tuition has gone up, but that they're recommending that the majority of the students come with personal aids, and we're looking into that. We had some more potential student field trip destinations. A lot of them were ones that other schools were already going to, but just ones that are added to different buildings. We have 5 grants that are being submitted. We talked about the school self-assessment for elements of determining the HIV, and we talked about that some of the schools had higher scores than others, and that the ones that scored themselves low, we would make sure that the folks doing the survey gave themselves credits for everything that was appropriate, and then if their scores were still coming out low, we make sure that they had support to bring in services and programs to help them get their scores up, and not just to get their scores up, but to provide the appropriate HIV services for our students. We talked about professional travel, mileage reimbursement, and that New Jersey is increasing the mileage from 31 cents a mile to 35 cents. And there was a new state policy that had to come through, and that's about procurement procedures, and that'll be on, for the nutrition programs, and that'll be on the board agenda for tonight. So that's all.
Thank you. Okay, next we have our monthly suspension reports. Does anybody have any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to the monthly HIB report. And our monthly health report.
Can I just add something on esports? Listen carefully, Mr. Overwell, I'm learning fast. We are in the middle of the World Championship of League of Legends, which you all know where I am at sports. I watch Carolina basketball, that's it. But my daughter informed me that the other day, and apparently there are teams from all over the world. The top team players, help me here, Mr. Overwell, do you know how many teams there are?
Right now, they're,
But they win several $million.
I don't know, but she was like, oh, this is amazing, I keep watching these people, they're really good, and I'm like, you're watching sports? She goes, it's esports, it's different, that's okay. But this is like
they're down to 12.
they're down to 12, and they're from all over the world. This is a thing, I guess.
Top prize is $1 million.
Top prize is $1 million to the team.
I think we discussed that. Okay, so nothing on the monthly health report. Seeing none, we have the hearing of the public on agenda items only. Does anybody signed up? Colleen Clark? Colin, sorry.
How does the cost of last year's tuition compare to this year? Or the,
Special services?
yeah,
We don't have last year's tuition.
It's higher. I don't have the exact numbers. We'll have to get back to you on that.
And I think the more significant thing was that they were requesting an aid for each student, which means a full-time person with salary and benefits.
I would also add, though, I think the key piece to it is the cost may be up, but the number of students out has decreased over the years under Ms.
Catherine. Look like you did the same. Go ahead.
So my question is, how does this year's self-assessment of elements determining HIB compared to last year's?
Mr. Morris, would you be able to give a little feedback on that?
They are improving for the past 3 years. Each school is improving. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, since the next two items are on school-related, items, what we're gonna do is, we'll move that, since this is a short, session, we'll move that hearing up also. So if anybody signed up for the second hearing, we'll do this all right now. And, so the first one up on school-related issues is John Laco?
How you doing? My name's John Laco. I'm the president of Steiner Soccer Booster Club. My wife also works for the after-prom committee, volunteers for that. There's a lot of controversy going around right now that my daughter made me aware of about the school gowns for graduation. Supposedly the girls are not allowed to wear white at Steiner, and I'd like to know how that decision was come about, who made it, and why is it being dropped now after the girls already had their pictures taken in white at the beginning of the year.
So the decision was made at the building level. It's consistent with what the other buildings are doing, so the other buildings are now consistently one color. We do understand, and I have talked to Mr. Weber about the fact that this did come after the pictures were taken. On Friday, I believe it was, he sent out a letter to all seniors and their parents that two options are available. The photographer, at no cost to the families, will retouch up those pictures if they so choose at no cost to them, or will schedule another sitting for our students.
What is the premise of the decision? This is a tradition that's been at Steiner, I don't know, at least 50, 60 years. So why was the decision made? What is the reason?
So there's a couple of reasons for it, but one, there's consistency among the district, so all three.
I'm sorry, consistency of what's the other school that does it? And why did they do it?
We'll let Dr. Bacchus.
So West
Sorry,
does
this is
not.
this is a topic that I'm
He's
a
trying to
little upset
explain.
about, okay?
I'll answer the question. So, West does it, Nottingham does it, also, most of the districts in the county, high schools do it also. Almost every one of them does that. So it's consistency, with the color of robe for every student in every school.
So if my daughter was to show up in white, what happens?
That is not a conversation that I would say that we could have now. I would say that is a conversation you should have with the building principal.
And once again, so the reason is just because if one person did it, everyone's gotta do it? I mean, I still don't understand the reason. This has been a tradition for over 50 years. What's the reason that it's changed? Just because one school did it, everyone, you know, we don't have turf fields because if one school doesn't get turf fields, they all have to get turf fields. So we can't afford that, we don't do that. So now one school says, you know what, I just wanna order the same color gowns. Well, okay, now everyone's gotta do that. I don't understand why.
I think, first, you can talk to the building principal, but first of all.
I've tried that. He says it's
Okay.
you guys that have decided.
No.
That's what he says.
First, the last two high schools, Nottingham High School being the first one, decided to go blue and gold. Gold is for a National Honor Society, just to change things up. Follow it, Hamilton West, who's also been around for 50-some years, has done that by their building principal and administrator. And a lot of colleges, schools around the county. So Mr. Weber decided this year that that's what he wanted his high school to do. It's not a Board of decision on what color gowns our students wear. And it's not really, Dr. Rocco, you know, he doesn't make that decision either. So yes, was it the timing off with the pictures but it's the way it's gonna be for graduation, and I
So
don't
you're
think
saying,
this is an avenue to debate that.
I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to get the facts. So you're saying that this was Weber's decision, Principal Weber's decision to do this?
It was his administration.
His administration decided to do it because one school did it one year, the other one said, oh, okay, maybe I'll try that, and now we're.
Well, I don't know why it was his decision.
So does he still have the option to keep it the way it was, or was he forced into this
As of,
situation?
he wasn't forced into anything. He made the decision for his school, what he thought would be the best for his school. And for as many people as we've heard complain about it, we've gotten probably double or triple the amount of people that said it's okay and it's not that big a deal.
So if I get a petition that has
So-
10 times the amount that agree with it, then would that do anything, or is this a
I
set
do
in
not
stone
believe it's
decision?
gonna be, neither other two high schools changed their decisions after it was made, and I highly doubt that Mr. Weber's gonna change his at this time. And the only thing we can do is stand behind him and his decision, and
All right, it just seems
it's
like
not,
we're getting the
I don't
winner.
think it's something that is going to stop anybody from receiving the same diploma they would get any other time, no matter what color gown they had on.
I understand, you ask a question, they say it was you guys, so that's why I'm here, and now you say it's him. So now I'll go back to him and ask him, and then I'm sure he'll say, well, we'll have to have a meeting with everyone together to decide. I appreciate you
Well,
doing that.
Mr. Weber, you can, if you'd like him to be in the same room with all of us, you can have him come to next month's meeting, and Will will tell you that the Board of Education does not direct the school on what color gowns to wear or do not wear.
Okay, thank you.
Brandon, no fact?
Nevada.
Good evening, my name is Brandon Nevada. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. I do want to apologize that I was not here for the previous board meeting where the esports were presented. I'm actually here to try to speak in defense. I understand that there was objection to a few of the games that are played. As you mentioned, they are up to 11. This is a nationwide league called the High School Esports League. And the two of the games that were, from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, the two games that received the most objection were Counter-Strike Global Objectives and Rainbow Six Siege. Is that? And Overwatch as well? Okay. And again, I do understand that, I sympathize, that may raise concerns. But I'm sure as Mr. O'Boyle will attest to, there have been several, countless studies done since the 1990s that have that have debunked the any type of correlation between violent video games and real life violence. Even as recently as February of this year, Forbes magazine had an op-ed citing an Oxford study. Another study was cited, University of York study was cited in the LA Times in August of this year, I believe it was. Again, confirming that there is no correlation between video game violence and real life violence. So I'm here to ask that please consider that. Also, the fact that these are the main reason why I look at these as academic opportunities as well is because at last count there are over 100 colleges and universities around the country that offer scholarships to esports athletes, and by denying our students the opportunity to compete in these particular games could hurt that opportunity, similar to you wouldn't ban a person from playing football without any type of medical reason or academic reason, something that's school related. We wouldn't come to the decision to say, well, football's okay, but other things are okay, but because again, these are opportunities for our students. In addition to that, it's the opportunity, especially particularly in the video game community, because these are typically students who are not prone to join extracurricular activities. So this gives them, again, another opportunity to be part of the school community in extracurricular activities. Thank you very much for your time.
Mr.
And
Mena, are
actually-
you a parent
I am a parent. I'm also an education assistant at Steiner High School. I have 3 children in the district, 1 at Steiner, 1 at Reynolds, and 1 at Morgan.
And, Mr. O'Boyle, it has been really helpful in explaining to those of us who don't understand a lot of these games, exactly what you were saying, so no decision's been made exactly which ones. But go ahead, Mr. Hall.
Just so I can better understand it, do you happen to know how it will negatively affect any of the participating students if they don't participate in those 2 particular games?
Okay. If I could give an analogy, the closest analogy to the esports system would be similar to a track team. You have your sprinters, you have your long distance runners, you have your throwers. All right. Esports is going to operate exactly in a similar method where you have some players who only play Fortnite. You have some players who only play Smash Brothers Ultimate. You have some players who only play Rainbow Six Siege or are better at Rainbow Six Siege than others. Also, given the limited opportunity, the fact that we only have 6 gaming PCs per school, and the games must be played at 5 o'clock on a particular day for that particular game, we are limited to the number of people that we can send. So an Overwatch team comprises 6 players. If we have 14 players who are interested in playing Overwatch, we are already going to have to limit it to 6 because we just don't have the capability for them to play. I would hope that in the future, if this program does become successful, that we can possibly expand it. But again, I know this is a program, so it's actually very good the way that we're starting it off. So again, you're limiting. You are limiting. Again, it's go back to the track analogy. If I'm a shot putter, if you took out the shot put, I can't compete.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think we did ask that too, what happens if we get an abundance of kids and we need to get more of the game consoles? Okay, Mr. Gatto?
I have a couple announcements. First of all, next Wednesday, October 23rd, we're going to have another candidates night, meet the candidates nights for school board positions. It'll be held again October 23rd from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock at the White Horse Firehouse. And they've been very generous in giving us their facility. Everybody is welcome, and we had a great turnout last year. We had 150 people, and I think it'll be good for the community. I wanted to thank the board for its continuous support. I know it was talked about the PSAT, which had a major impact because I obviously many years as a high school counselor, because it gave us opportunities to have students that have a score in front of them and build on it. So it's no small thing. That's a very important thing that you did there, and we're still getting the residuals from it. It's really helpful. The other thing I want to thank you is your continuous support for the Naviance program, which is in all 3 high schools. I can tell you, talking to representatives throughout the state, it has helped scholarships, it's helped more of our kids get into schools, and it's really helped the entire district as far as being able for our students to compete with schools throughout the state. We are currently putting it in at the middle school level. I've met with a couple of counselors at Crockett. I am going to train them in that because I have background in that. That's kind of like, I always believe in giving something back. I've been in the district for a few years, so. And we'll also do that with Reynolds and Bryce. So any board members, particularly the new ones, want to spend a little time on Naviance, we'll put you in as a student, if you don't mind. It's a fake student. And we'll take you through the process, and it's very good. And I know what happens is I'm concerned because every you look at it, it looks like it is, whether it's $40,000 or $50,000, but it works out to about $6 for a student. So I just want to let you know that. But again, thank you for your support with that. And again, I want to come over to my office and sit down and have a little fun. Thank you.
Thank you. And now scholarships, Mr. Scotto, could we start reminding our guidance offices to really push the scholarships? Because I know there's some out there that get 0 people to apply for them, and then in your office, right? So do you know? I know that, you know, when my daughter graduated, there was so many scholarships that not many people applied for, that anybody that did got them. So every little dollar helps. I know sometimes our children don't wanna do it, but maybe if we can have a project in an English class, you can sit there and fill out a couple scholarships, that'll help out, I'm sure. Okay, we have nobody else signed up for school-related matters. Is there anyone else that would like to speak before we close out this? Okay, seeing none, we're gonna close out the hearing of the public. And we'll move on to curriculum and instruction. Ms. Kelly, could you bring us through those?
Yes, gladly. I move items 1 through 6 in curriculum and instruction. These are non-roll call items.
Second.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments on those? Anything they'd like to discuss before we move to a vote? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Atwood?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. And then I'd like to move for a first reading, item number 7, which is board policy 8561. That's about procurement procedures for school nutrition programs. And it's really all about the process that we go through to make sure that everything is done properly.
Second.
Anybody have anything they'd like to ask about that? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Atwood?
Dr. Farrar?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Hankin?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly? Yes. Ms. Thornton?
Yes.
Mr. Cardinale?
Yes.
Ms. Lombardo?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, finance and operations, Mr. Kanko?
As per recommendation of superintendent, I move non-roll call items 1 through 11.
Second.
Any board members have any questions about any of this, Mr. Kanko?
I would like to just make a comment on motion 8. It's the approval of the annual maintenance budget and comprehensive plan for it's a report for next year. I just want to reiterate that, you know, this district is spending a lot of money. We spent with the ESIP project nearly $25 million, and we're going to be spending another $55 million with this referendum project. And we need to keep these units that we're putting in and these buildings maintained. So I'm going to be, during the budget season, for not this year, but for next year, I'm going to be making sure that we try to get as much money as we can to get these buildings maintained. That we have 24 facilities that we have to maintain. It takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of manpower, and there's a lot of hours involved. So I don't want to see any of this money, any of these, this part of the budget being reduced in any way. If anything, with the amount of money we're spending, we should be increasing it to keep up on the maintenance for all this new equipment we're putting in. So I just want to make the board aware that I think we need to allocate more funds for this, and I want the public to know that they gave us their vote with this referendum project, and I want this to make sure that we follow through with everything with the maintenance of this equipment, so we don't fall into the same problems that we've had in the past we'll do it next year, so just wanted to make that point to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Somebody else?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passed.
Any personnel items? Mr. Hall, you wanna bring through them, or you should go on? Just roll call items 1 through 8.
They're all roll call. Upon recommendation of the superintendent, I move roll call items 1 through 8.
Second.
Okay, I'd just like to congratulate 2 of our employees on their retirements. We have one special ed teacher, University Heights, 37 years in the district. And we have, guidance counselor, 31 years, 6 months, from Hamilton East. So I wish both of them all the best. Anybody else have anything before we move to a vote? Seeing none, Ms. Atwood?
Dr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Kanka?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly? Yes. Ms. Thornton?
Yes, on all number 3, D, 67, and 68, abstain.
Mr. Cardinale?
Yes.
Ms. Lombardo?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Okay, moving on to other business, the first item I have is we're gonna approve the upcoming board meeting dates for November and December. So on the calendar, Dr. Rocco has November 13th for our agenda work session, and then November 18th for the regular session. Anybody?
Did we do start time?
Start time is gonna be 5:30, but meeting will start at 6:30. 5:30 we'll go into exec, remember we talked about that? Yeah,
On both, we're starting at 5:30?
we're gonna do our executive session first, and then we'll come out here like we have been at 6:30. If we need another exec, we'll go back in later. Yes, Mr. Hall?
Is there no initiatives for November?
That's something separate, we don't have to all agree on them, and by committee, you can move whatever you wanna do with those dates. Yeah, these are just for the meetings that all 9 of us have to be at. Are they good with you, Mr. Harris?
13 committees.
Yeah. And so one of those is a Monday.
The 18th.
Well, we're not real sure why that, but that was what was in the calendar for our other meeting anyway, so we're just leaving that one. And then December, we have December 10th and 16th so far.
December 10th, not the 11th?
The 10th is a Tuesday.
And the 16th is
Monday.
Is there a reason that we moved to a Tuesday?
trying to figure out why.
They are the dates that were on the calendar that were given to me. I'm not really sure.
Can we change it to the 11th?
I can't do the 10th.
Is everybody okay with changing it to the 11th?
That'd be great.
So the 11th is the work session?
The agenda, yep. For December, are you good with that? And then December 16th is a Monday.
I think the reason why we did it in November is because it sometimes conflicted with Thanksgiving.
That's why it says in Okay, so everybody's still good with the 16th, though, right? So that week will be about.
Initiatives will be scheduled.
Off.
Yeah.
Per committee. Okay, anybody else have any other business?
I just wanted to see if, I know that the district was working on a transportation study. I just wanted to see where we were, if we get a timeline on that.
So I'm gonna let Ms. Atwood in a second update. We've had one very brief update from the gentleman doing it. He had a lot of data going over how he was going to process all of that data. It was pages and pages of stuff. So, we're gonna have another update internally, but I don't know if you wanna add anything else to that.
Just that we've had, in between those, we've had, him over at transportation as well. So I think his goal, and correct me if I'm wrong, is certainly by the end of the year, by end of December, right? I believe that we would have this completed. There's a lot of work he's looking at. It took him a long time. He actually modeled the district, which I thought was great, in terms of putting all of our roots and understanding everything. For him to then be able to make recommendations on how changes could save us money. And with that, he's also looking at all of our routes, so it's kind of parallel this year to see if there's any recommendations like that.
Would those occur for the 2021 year? Not, there's nothing that's gonna change this year?
I always hope. So
Okay.
if, you know, I mean, nothing big could change this year, but if there was something, you know, that easy, I won't wait.
Okay.
Very well. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?